I am building the entire world of Elden Ring in Minecraft, and last video we completed the vast majority of the Weeping Peninsula, but we did have one last place to tackle. Oh, and we'll talk about this part soon, so keep watching until then. This is Castle Morne. I was somewhat worried that this would be a challenge. It's a very vertical structure, and since it's on its own in the open, I felt like any wrong move with its shape would make it look strange. The first trouble was making sure each tower was as accurate as I could get it to scale, since this would mostly determine the height of the build. Next was the gatehouse. I realised that with each of the gates in the castle, it was just a copy and paste of what came before it. So I made one that I was happy with as a template, and then pasted that in other places it appears, which actually was the case for the majority of the towers and structures in this castle. It's surprisingly very repetitive. Most of the large platform towers were all just giant square towers that were repeated, and even the round towers are mostly identical to each other. It turns out that Castle Morne was really fun to build. Despite my initial worries, it was great. I put on some music, had Elden Ring and Minecraft open, and just got to work. It took me a while to figure out some colour palettes for the corpse piles, and while I can't easily replicate a pile of bodies, I decided the evil looking bone and soul sand mix was the best. You might also notice that the gallows are unoccupied currently. Well, I wasn't sure if YouTube would cry about it, so they are there in-game, but they aren't there for the video. Honestly, the whole build was great. I really enjoyed it, and I think I have a new appreciation for Castle Morne. I barely remembered anything about it since it was a very easy area to quickly run through to get to the boss. But if you stand around and you take in your surroundings, it's got one of the most VIP penthouse views of Limgrave. It's a very cool castle, even though there are no rooms for you to live in, which brings me on to my next point. That a couple of people in our Discord server, which you should join right now, mentioned, which is whether I'll be creating rooms inside of towers that normally don't have rooms in Elden Ring. The answer is no and yes. No, mainly because that had massively increased the time in which I am building something not relevant to Elden Ring. I want to keep putting the majority of my effort towards what you experience in Elden Ring. However, I have decided to make raised rooms. These are secret hideouts spread all across the lands between. I plan on making secret little rooms all over. Where they're appropriate, of course. I won't be sacrificing anything for the rooms, but they'll be tucked away in something unused by the game, as an Easter egg for you to all run around and find. There will be a lot of cool additions to the map that weren't planned from the beginning, one of which is NPCs. This was one of the more exciting things that I was waiting to release, as it was possible for me to include the NPCs from Elden Ring, such as Melina, Rani, Irina's dad. I'll be including all of them. This means that every NPC will need a high quality skin to match, and this is where you come in. The main role I am currently looking for is an expert in skin editing and skin creation. I need someone who can make beautiful and consistent Elden Ring skins for Minecraft, for the NPCs of course, so this is the first form you can fill out on the Discord. Now, to answer a question that I seem to get asked a lot, will this map be downloadable? And will it be paid? And if so, where can I buy it? First of all, yes, the map will be downloadable, but only when everything is finished. This will include the mods required to run the map. No promises, but I will try to include the high quality mod pack version as well as the most optimized version too, so you'll be able to see if you can run it or use the mod pack as well. I don't know much about Minecraft's editions, but I'm pretty sure this is only available for Java Edition. Secondly, will it be paid? I want people to know that I'm working very hard to make this as high quality as possible, and I'm spending multiple hours every day working on it. increasing the playability and quality as I go, catering it to fit both the aesthetic of Minecraft and Elden Ring. But it's not going to be paid, it's going to be totally free. I never began the project in the hopes of making money from the map, and honestly speaking, I never expected the reception of the first 2 videos to be so amazing, and the realization that I could possibly make YouTube a career. So of course, while I'm not ever going to ask anyone to pay for the map, I'll always definitely appreciate the sharing, commenting, subscribing and liking of the video to keep the YouTube algorithm going so I can continue to work hard on the project. Now we've got that out of the way, I wanted to announce that Limgrave is finally complete. We will come back here sometimes, but for now it's time to move on to new things, a new region. And the 2 that were up for debate were Caelid and Liurnia. I had run a poll on my Discord, which you should join right now if you haven't. I'll wait. Good. Now, I ran this poll and I asked people's reasoning for their decision. A lot of it made sense, and I stated that I'd take every opinion in as a consideration to which area I would move on to. A lot of people stated that, oh, Caelid because it's going to clear off that side of the map. However, also a lot of people said that going through Liurnia would be the natural course, just like you would in Elden Ring. So here are my thoughts and what I decided after taking in the opinions of everyone. Caelid. The reason I've decided on this is because of a lot of the reasoning makes so much sense. It is an isolated area on the right of Limgrave, and once that is finished, the whole bottom right corner of the map will be done. But better yet, both connection points to Shifa River will be complete too. This opens up the possibility to map out and start working on the underground zones. Of course, that is a whole other challenge. I don't even know how I'm going to get light down there like you have in Elden Ring anyways. But Caelid's architecture isn't too different from Limgrave's, and a lot of things carry over quite nicely, with the addition of rot and dirt on pretty much every surface. Caelid's biggest challenges, as far as I can tell from where I am, are the Bestial Sanctum, the Divine Tower and the Giant Dragon. Bestial Sanctum has Farum Azula type architecture, which I'll need to figure out the block palette for, which might define how Farum Azula looks later in the build. The Divine Tower has issues on its own for having a very vertical puzzle type structure, and well, the dragon is a dragon, so it's going to be really annoying to build up because I suck at dragons. You've probably noticed by now that the sky is not like the usual Bliss shaders I use. This is actually all thanks to Xonk, the developer of Bliss shaders. Xonk helped me with adding so much customizability to the shader so that I can recreate the skies from Elden Ring inside the shader itself, as typically shaders and custom skybox resource packs don't blend well. However, UsernameGeri, who has been making the Elden Ring skybox resource pack, has been helping a lot with creating amazing skies for the build. This pairs very well for those who don't mind not using shaders or can't run them. You can kind of get away with both, as Xonk did add a feature to isolate the resource pack sky, but for my cinematics I'll be using the shader setup I have for each region. Another thing to add is the Caelid grass. One of the main issues I found myself having was that I had no reddish grass texture to use for Caelid. I spent a long time searching for the answer, and I eventually came across the idea of changing the colour map for biomes. With the incredible help from Swipe, who managed to edit the Conquest Reforged grass colour map to perfectly replace the Savannah biome's faded grass texture with Caelid, we now have the perfect colour. This, with a combination of my own Caelid ground brush, we have a satisfying, rotten, dead landscape that fits the aesthetic I wanted for this evil biome. I have been working hard on terraforming this portion of Caelid, and it's been difficult. There are a lot of hills that you don't notice when you're playing Elden Ring, but when you're observing the landscape you notice how many dips in elevation there are, and that's very difficult to build in Minecraft, well, at least for me. But I will be continuing this as we slowly build up Caelid, and my next steps are to try and reach Fort Gale and have that finished. Much like Castle Morne and Fort Height, it's one of those things you see straight away when you walk out from the first steps, and I was always curious about it when I first played Elden Ring. but then again I love castles, so if I see it I just want to go there. Now there isn't much to show regarding Caelid just yet, but I hope you're looking forward to each key zone here. Redmane Castle, Fort Gale, Fort Fareth, Celia the Town of Sorcery, Bestial Sanctum, Lenny's Rise, Divine Tower of Caelid, and General Radahn's Arena. I know it might be cutting the video short, but I wanted to just update everyone on where we are, and that we're now moving swiftly onto Caelid. As mentioned previously, there are opportunities to commit something to the build. The skin creation for NPCs is our first necessary requirement, so there will be a form in our Discord. And I'll be adding roles to the Discord too, so please feel free to join the community. Everyone is so kind and fun over there, and we're missing you. Anyways, with all of that out of the way, this is where we are right now. And thank you so much for the continued support, and I hope you're all excited to see how we build the rock-filled lands of Caelid.